Hi, I'm Scott,
And I'm Andrew, and thank you for joining us for Hebrews Podcast
where we talk about our personal experiences being dads in the day-to-day life of raising kids.
and coffee.
Lots of
Lots of coffee.
Lots of coffee.
Well, good morning, everybody. Good morning, Scott.
Good morning. How's it going over there?
It's going. It's a good day.
It is always a
It
good
is
day.
a good day.
Almost always.
Almost always, yeah. We got another episode of the Hebrews Podcast, and we're
Number 10.
number 10.
10 times sitting here doing this with you. It's
Creeping
fun.
up. Yeah, second time here in the studio.
I know it. It's great.
We should call it the studio.
The
now,
studio.
which
Yeah,
is fun.
exactly.
We're excited, and we've made another change. If you can see, we've added an addition to our studio.
A little
with a-
Pixar lamp. I was
yeah,
going to bounce it in.
Yeah, but that might have broken it.
It
so
probably would have broken it.
it would have been funny though. I think
Yeah.
people would have gotten it, like bounce it on a coffee bag or something. But no, we're grateful that you've decided to join us today for our adventure episode 10 of the Hebrews Podcast.
Episode 10, you know it.
Yeah, be sure to check us out on wherever you're watching, whether you're on Spotify or on YouTube.
Yes.
Just we do have Spotify and YouTube.
Spotify and YouTube and our Podbean website.
Podbean.
It's where we host our podcast, and
Yep.
you can go there and listen there if you'd like to.
Yep.
Don't forget to like on YouTube and make sure you're
Yes.
subscribed. You're subscribed. Those words never come out right when I say
it's
them.
some weird. Yeah, it's
Like there's a bee that floats around
Yeah.
somewhere, and I don't know where it
it's
comes
in there
from.
somewhere.
Subscribed. There's
Where
two
did
bees.
it come from? Where did it go?
There are two bees.
There are.
So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel. This is where I feel like most of the views and most of the people watching come to the YouTube.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just listening or not, but still.
Yeah.
Here at YouTube. And it's great to have you guys comment and let us know that
Absolutely.
you're watching,
Yeah.
that you're enjoying it or not. And if you see us in church or around town or something, tell us, like, hey, we watched the podcast. We love to hear it.
Let
If you
us know.
see, like, I rock the stickers all over the place. My phone's got a Hebrews podcast sticker
Mine doesn't.
because he's not cool enough.
My case is.
I stuck
today.
mine right to my iPad.
I stuck it. It's on my computer case.
Your computer case?
Yeah, and my
There's
water
no
bottle.
commitment.
My
Stick
two
it
water
straight
bottles.
to those things.
It's
Like, if
not
you
my
peel this off,
computer, though.
what?
It's the church's computer.
Well, I'm sure they love Hebrews podcast too. So,
No, we're
Anyway.
grateful that you've joined us.
yeah, we
And
love having you listen. So,
Yeah, we're gonna
it's
have
good.
some merch rolling out pretty soon.
Really?
It's gonna be fun.
Did
We're
not-
not gonna.
I didn't know.
You didn't know?
I didn't know.
How did you not know?
Well, this is news.
It's not news.
News to me.
We'll talk about it later.
It's brand new news.
Brand new news. New news. That's
New
a fun-
news.
New. But no, yeah, be sure to drop us a comment on Instagram. We also have that. Follow us on there. If you have any questions about, are you just spinning your?
I am. I tried to move something and it just started spinning.
So you kept spinning it.
It was fun. I'm sorry. I'm in a weird, wild mood tonight.
If you have any questions, or if you have any recommendations, like we'd love to try different flavors of coffee, different kinds of ways of making coffee. So either drop those to us on Instagram, or you can email us at thehebrewspodcast@gmail.com.
The Hebrews podcast.
And we'd love to answer your questions, but also take your suggestions for coffee, just not
Yeah.
cat poo coffee. No,
Not cat poo. And mushrooms
cat
are either on the table or off the table. We're debating.
We're debating.
Now, I'm sure Pastor Andrew said Instagram, but I was paying attention to my iPad and spinning
Yes.
the thing. So it's Hebrews_podcast at Instagram.
For Instagram, that's what it is. The handle, as
Handle.
the kids say. So we've got a couple dad jokes.
Oh,
that
that's right. Last week, I think I shared first.
You did share first last
So why don't
time.
you go first with your dad joke?
So you'll appreciate this one, Scott. And if you
I usually
remember,
do.
viewers, you'll understand why.
Hold
I
on.
said
Before we do dad jokes, I want to drink some coffee. Let's
we
talk
did-
about this.
Yeah, we didn't even talk about our coffee.
We did iced coffee again
'Cause it
last
was
week. It was
so
such a
good.
hit. There
So
is a
good.
new bean, and we left the bag upstairs, but it was Mexico Pluma,
Mexico
and it
Pluma.
had hints of cinnamon, cocoa powder,
Yeah.
and sweet cream. Is
And
what
it
the
sounded
it's
like
what
as
the
soon as we
description
read it,
is.
we were like, "This is the one."
So we're gonna go for it. So
So a little bit of espresso with the,
the espresso
normal milk
and a milk, and I have oat milk because my stomach isn't happy with
normal milk.
lactose.
Yeah.
I was thinking of the word. I almost got it.
So
Not gluten.
and of course the glasses are great. So
Yeah.
here we go.
Good.
That is
Is it good?
that's good.
Yeah.
That's better than last week.
Ooh.
And last week was good. Like
The thing, like I'm trying to figure out. Iced coffees have a different, like you want a different flavor from an
Yes.
iced coffee
Yes, 100%.
than a hot coffee. So
Yeah.
and like
And
the
that's-
rich, heavy flavor I love in a hot coffee with a
Yep.
little bit of latte foam in the
And that's where I
and the
think the
top
sweet
and
cream,
the sweetness is
Yeah.
nice in here. So
it's definitely there. And it's sugar-free vanilla that we added into it, which I think definitely helps it because
It gives it a
vanilla,
little bit of a-
cinnamon, and sweet cream, you can't go wrong with that.
no, there's probably vanilla in the sweet cream
Yes.
hints
Yeah.
as well.
So it is quite delicious.
It's very good. I just had to take a drink of it, and he was talking, and I interrupted him so rudely.
That's okay. So this is my joke. Did you know that milk is the fastest liquid on Earth? It's pasteurized before you can even see it.
That's amazing. I was trying to think of like it moves really fast or something, and
I'm bad with that joke.
pasteurized.
Yeah.
No, it's great. It's great.
Pasteurized.
That's a good one. I
See,
like
you
it.
can tell who's the more experienced dad in this scenario because I gotta find him, and I asked you, and you're like, I got him in my back pocket, just ready to go.
Well, I was thinking of it earlier today. I wasn't like looking.
I
it up.
tried to. And
Okay.
yeah.
Uh,
There's one that I got to try to remember where I saw it. It
Yeah.
was probably on Instagram. That I was like, oh, I got to share that one, but now I got to find it again because I was laughing.
Mhm.
I laughed a lot.
So here's it.
All right.
So I stayed up all night last night looking for the sun, and it finally dawned on me.
It dawned on me.
There we go. That's a good old dad pun. A little humor there. I have to admit, I did steal it from a TV show. I saw it recently. So.
Hey, shh. It's okay.
I mean, no one ever like really creates dad jokes. You have scenarios that are like, that's a perfect pun, or like, that's a perfect dad joke, but
Yeah,
it's probably been done before.
I'm sure.
Mhm.
Yeah. Well, how was your week?
Well, I got some notes on that because it was a whammy.
Oh.
Whammy.
Whammy.
I said whammy way too many times. It was a wingding.
A wing.
It was a week.
A wingding.
First of all, my wife was away on her friend's father had passed away, so she took Eliza, the baby, with her, and she went on a trip down to North Carolina for a couple days, and it was good that she could make it for her friend. And it's
Absolutely.
great. And her sister's down there, so she got to see her sister, and it was good because her sister got to meet Eliza for the first time. So that was fun. I kind of wish I could go, but I
Yeah.
had the kids here. They were in school.
Yeah.
Which brings me to my next point. Emily on Friday. So I'm getting the kids ready and out the door, and I make them breakfast, and it's at the table. And Emily says to me, she's like, I don't want to eat it right now. I'm going to bring it in the car and eat it. And I said, whatever, it's fine. It was a waffle. She could do that if she wanted to. And I get home from dropping the kids out at school, and I see the waffle on the table. And I'm like, that's not good. Not good at all. And later in the day, it's got to be like 1 in the afternoon. Excuse me. The school calls me, and they go, Emily's complaining about her stomach's upset, and she doesn't feel good. And I was like, huh, is it something that I need to go pick her up for? It's like an hour left till it get dismissed, and I was kind of hoping they'd say, no, we just wanted to let you know, because I didn't really want to drive all the way out there and pick her up and then
Come back.
have her
and
be
have to-
fine, or
go get
exactly,
Liv.
and then go get Olivia. So they asked her because she was sitting right there in the office, and she's like, "Yeah, I want to go home." So I went and I picked her up, and I'm asking her, I'm like, "Emily, what's going on? What's wrong? I know your belly doesn't feel good," and she says that it's hurt all day. And I said, well, what'd you eat for lunch? Because maybe it didn't agree with her stomach. Because she looked fine. If you have kids, you can understand, like when they say they're sick, you can usually see it in their face that they're not feeling good. And she looked fine and normal, but she said she wasn't feeling good, so I was trying to get more information out of her.
Mhm.
And at lunch, she didn't want the hot lunch, but she didn't tell me that in the morning, so I didn't pack her a cold lunch. And it was chicken patty on a bun, which kids always usually love, right?
Mhm.
It's just a giant chicken nugget between
Yeah.
a bun.
Giant chicken nugget.
And she's like, I had some of the bun and I ate a grape. I was like, so you ate a grape? Probably like 2 bites of the bun.
bites.
If she said some of the bun, maybe
Yeah.
1 or 2 bites.
Yeah, little.
And you
bites.
didn't have breakfast. And she's like, yeah. I was like, you need to eat. This is what's going on. Your belly's empty and it's mad at you because you haven't had food all day.
Yep.
And I was like, don't tell anybody. Let's go to McDonald's. You're going to get McDonald's for lunch. So I brought her to McDonald's for Friday lunch at 1
There
p.m.
we go.
And then I was like, don't tell your sister this because we're on our way back to school to pick her up from school.
Mhm.
And yeah, that was a fun time. Olivia didn't even like ask her why she was still in the car. at
just
pickup
got
because
it.
usually they both are at pickup and they get in the car together.
Yeah.
But I got there and I actually had my mother with me because we were gonna go to the dollar store and get craft
Ah.
supplies because my girls slept over my mother's house Friday night. Which brings me to my next point. I had caffeine, and it usually doesn't affect me like this, but I didn't eat much today either.
So the
So the caffeine's running through my
This is gonna be
my
a fun
veins.
podcast.
So we're going. I think I spoiled it like twice that we're recording tonight in the evening, but it's okay. Behind the scenes, BTS
Yeah.
footage. I was getting to Friday night. I had a very special time with a special someone in my life, and we ordered elk pizza. It was
Oh my
Andrew here.
goodness.
He came over and we had a party because my wife was out of town. My kids were sleeping over at my mom's house, and there was nobody else but me. And it was really lonely in my house without anybody.
And
So-
a new sound system.
And a new sound system
That
to boot.
needed
We
to be
got surround
tested.
sounds, Dolby Atmos, blows the house up. The dog freaks out, thinks
Yeah.
people are all around her. It's hilarious. You got to see it. But we watched some of a movie. We played some video games. We just hung out.
Mhm.
And elk pizza was really cool.
It was good.
And it just tasted like Italian sausage to me, but
Yeah.
it was tasty.
Yeah.
It was good.
And it was 2 hours late.
And it was 2 hours late. We're not going to get into my debacle with DoorDash.
The second
My DoorDash
time.
debacle. That's alliteration.
It is an alliteration. Yeah.
That was so far. That's what happened with me.
Yeah.
Probably something else happened. My wife came home Sunday. Monday. Yeah, that's about what I got.
My week was pretty chill. As you said, we hung out on Friday night, which is obviously was a good time. Got to play some games. Got to watch some of a movie.
Yes.
Just try out the new sound system, which is always fun.
By the way, the movie was Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Two.
Because one of my favorite scenes in the Marvel Universe is when they're singing Mr. Blue Sky and they're fighting the big alien in the very beginning.
Yep.
I figured
a
that would
fun
be
one.
fun for surround sound.
Oh yeah. Martell just loved it.
She was so confused.
She did not know what to do. But yeah, my week was good. Started off with that basically. We're going Thursday to Thursday, and just a pretty normal week. Rylan is. I mean, that's been the big update for me is Rylan. His vocabulary has like quadrupled. It's so
Nice. I'm gonna teach him some words,
funny.
but I'm not gonna tell you that I did it. So he's
yeah,
gonna be like
yeah.
using new words.
Right. Like, where'd you learn that? But it's so fun just seeing him, like, he'll start just randomly talking. Like we had I can't remember what the 0 to 3 person. I don't know what that technically is called. And they come and they check on.
Oh, birth to 3. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You know, I'm trying to explain to them. I figured you'd have a better way of explaining it. It's just like a
Oh, it's a
resource.
therapy. It's a
Yeah.
resource that does
Just
physical therapy, speech therapy,
Yeah. And
just to make sure you're on the right
tracking.
track.
Yeah.
Yep, and give you helpful hints on
But
how to progress and how
But
to get to the next steps.
This is someone that Rylan is very new to, like hasn't even spent a bunch of time with,
Mm-hmm.
because I think this was the second visit technically.
Yeah.
And she came into the living room and he's just chatting her up, just talking to her, bringing her toys after toys, and just going like into. I was like, whoa, like this is
He's
so
putting
cool.
the riz on,
Yeah.
as the kids say nowadays. Don't quote me if that's a bad thing. I'm very sorry. I don't think it is. I think it's just like flirting.
Yeah.
Right? Riz.
Yeah.
Rizzing.
But he it's so fun just seeing him progress and his way of saying like waffles and yogurt, and he loves to dunk things. It's so funny. So he'll point at his tray and I'll ask him like, where do you want your waffles? Because we do waffles and yogurt with him, and
Yeah,
sometimes
that's
with waffles and syrup. But syrup is like, I mean, I know he really likes it. And
Sticky.
it's sugary, but it's, oh my goodness, it's sticky. But so I asked him, where do you want your waffles? And he points at the middle of his tray and I was like, what about your yogurt? And then he points in the corner of his tray, like in the little cup thing. And then
Nice.
half the time when he's dunking things, he'll dunk his waffle in it like 4 times, and they'll look at it, and his fingers are covered in yogurt. He just puts his whole fingers in his
Everything
mouth.
in. Go for it.
Yeah, and he had his first little bit of soft serve ice cream today,
Ooh.
because it was we got some free cones at good old Dairy Queen.
Oh, that's right. Today's March 20, right?
Yeah, free cones.
I drove by it all the time, and I'm lactose intolerant.
But so we gave it to him, and while we were, I had to step out of the room for. I was putting instead of giving him the whole cone because why would you give a year and a half old the whole cone? We just gave him the part that was like the cone part with a little bit of ice cream in it. And while I walked away, he was standing at the gate, just standing there with his mouth open, just waiting to take a bite of Laney's cone or for me to come bring him. It was so funny. But yeah, Riley, he's a trip. He's learning new things, saying new things, and it's just so cool seeing like you can tell that he's trying to put words together.
Yeah.
And like we always say like, "Oh, you're telling me a story? Like, can you tell me more?" And just to keep getting him talking, and so it's super fun. It's super fun.
That's great.
So yeah. That was my week. But yeah, I don't think I missed anything big.
Hope not.
Yeah, I preach this weekend, which will be fun.
Yeah.
So that's always a good time. But yeah, so today we kind of wanted to, we like mixing it up a little bit, throwing in some, deeper topics. And we've got some, I know we keep saying we've got this in line and stuff. We do. We've got some plans. Stuff that we're planning on. And but today we thought it'd be cool to kind of talk about something unique. So I'll go ahead and you can share it because it was your idea.
Real quick, I want to mention we did get an email a while back from Jonah saying about a big heavy topic, and I have been thinking about that.
Yes.
The topic was, of course, how do you parent differently from your parents, like intentionally differently? Mm-hmm. And it's a big thing. So I have been thinking about that, and like again, no knock to our parents, your parents, or my parents, but like it's a thing I think about daily as I parent my kids. Like, how do I want to be different from the way I was raised, or do I want to do the same things the way I was raised? So, and it's a daily thing to think about. But anyway, today's topic isn't nearly as deep or heavy.
I still think it's a good one.
It's great.
It'll be a good one.
Sure. It's about how things are different from when we were our kids' age, because the world has changed drastically. And I was talking to somebody recently, and it was like, back when we were kids, we would do things outside a lot more.
Yeah.
And stuff like that. And there was that famous phrase that you've heard your dad say a million times. I even wrote it down. When I was your age, I had to walk to school uphill. In the snow, both ways. 3 miles, whatever. Yeah. So
it's funny. My grandma actually had to.
Uphill both ways?
Yeah.
No way?
Maybe it wasn't uphill. I'm trying to remember, but I know she definitely had to, so she would always joke about that. Like, I actually had to.
I mean, it's a funny thing. And it gets the point across. It's like kids nowadays are pampered. I laughed. Recently I saw a school bus stop at one driveway, drive to the next driveway, and pick up a different kid. I was like, when I took the bus in middle school, I literally had to walk a mile to get to the bus stop.
Yeah.
And it was there were 13 kids at that one bus stop.
Yep. And
what happened to that?
There are
still
some.
Do that?
There's a few. I've seen one at one of the parks nearby where the church is, and I've driven by and I've seen kids waiting there.
Okay.
But there are a lot of places where they literally they'll pick you up right at the end.
And it wasn't like a highway or anything. It was like a neighborhood. It was like.
Yeah. Wait a minute.
I don't know. You can't
it's
just
not
walk
crazy
over
cold.
next door.
It's not like
maybe it's a crazy neighbor they don't want to stand next to or something. I don't know. It is Shawano, right?
yeah. Scary Shawano. But no, I've been thinking about this since you brought it up, and
about 3 hours ago.
There's a lot of different ways to look at it, and I think it's funny how the first thing that we always go to is definitely the technology. This
half of my list that I have is technology.
Yeah, this generation, it's not the first generation, because technically our kids are the alpha gen, or the Gen Alpha, I think, because Alpha Gen makes it seem like they're superior, but so I think they call it Gen Alpha.
Okay.
And they're not the first to grow up in the technology world, because I think that falls under the next one, which is I can't remember which one is, whatever the next one is in between Gen Z and Gen Alpha.
You did way more information than I did. I don't know the generation names. I just know that.
Yeah, it's something like that.
To say yeet and squeet or whatever. I don't know. These are words I don't understand. I have to ask cool young hip people.
So, but it's interesting how the kids. I feel old saying the kids these days.
The kids these days, honestly,
they'll never understand. I grew up, and to go talk to my buddies, we would have to go to their house and knock on their door. And I remember going over to the priest's house numerous times and saying, hey, is Josh home? Or is Jacob home? Or and then the classic, like, we had to come in when the street lights came on. Like, it was a thing.
Exactly.
Like, that's just what we did, and that was a time that we knew we had.
Yeah.
Where nowadays it's technology is the focus.
I know. You know, I had to explain to my children that we didn't have on-demand TV either.
Yeah.
That was like one of the, like, if we wanted to watch a new show, we would have to wait for it to come on.
Yep.
And then if we missed it, we missed it.
Yep.
You know, you could pop in a VHS and record. I don't know if
we did. And
Oh,
I
you
got
did
in trouble
VHS
so
too.
many
Okay,
times because we would turn on something else.
Yes.
We were watching something. We wanted to watch something, and my mom and dad were like, hey.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that once we were a little older, we learned that the tabs on the side of the VHS that you could pop off and you can't re-record over.
Oh.
Did you know that trick?
No.
If you don't pull the tab, you can always re-record over it. But if the tab was off, you could not re-record over the VHS.
Ah.
So we made sure that if we had something we wanted to, we'd make sure you didn't re-record over it.
Yep.
But yeah, and the issues back then, the quality of TV, thinking
That's
back,
crazy.
yeah,
It is absolutely crazy to think about where things have come quality-wise.
sure.
Like, it's nuts.
Yeah, like I remember having a good day of TV for us. We had the bunny ears. We didn't have cable. It would be that the static wasn't so bad that you could still hear what they're saying. We're like, this is high quality TV. Oh man, I have a great story to tell. Also, so I'm a big video game player. You know this, and we had a Nintendo Entertainment System back. It came out in like the 80s. We had it in like the mid 90s. We had a black and white TV, and we had this game. It was like the Keys of Solomon or something. We thought it was the hardest video game in the universe. We would play it and play it and play it. And one day we talked to friends and they're like, oh, that's such an easy game to play. You just have to match the color of the keys to the color of the door. And we had a black and white TV.
Like, wait a minute.
So we didn't know any of these keys had color.
This is rigged.
So it was a great time.
No, it's so funny because, like, I mean, even when the other night when we were playing GoldenEye, like the original GoldenEye,
yeah.
and it's like,
Looks awful.
this is this is what it started with, and I remember being like I remember playing some Madden games, and I was like, this is so cool.
The graphics are so great.
No, it's like that's trash.
Yeah, exactly.
But it is unique, and it's so crazy to think about, like, how much has changed. Even
technology is a giant leap for
Yeah.
sure. But there are other things that have changed. I don't know what's happening here. So now it's scrolling. I personally love the style of 90s. I grew up in the 90s. Were you born in the 90s?
I was born in 95.
It works. It works. I always thought you were way younger than me. You're not that much younger.
No, I'm younger.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
not
Okay.
that
All right.
much.
Anyway, I was born in '89, so technically I was an '80s kid. But anyway, see, the '90s had such cool style. Like I loved the colors and the weird like shapes and
Frosted tips.
frosted. Okay, well, okay. All right. Maybe almost all the style is better. But yeah, we did do the frosted tips. I just enjoyed it better. Nowadays, style isn't really like a thing. It's just there is style, but I
Yeah.
feel like it's more of wear something comfortable, which is fine.
Yeah,
But-
it's weird. Like,
Yeah, like if you
Like
had a
Champion?
pinpoint.
like when I was a kid, if
Oh,
you wore
if you had a
champion
Champion
clothes,
stuff, you were the man.
broke.
Oh, the broke?
Like you did not. You weren't cool if you wore
Okay,
champion
all right.
clothes.
I never had champion clothes, but I was also not cool.
And now, well, no, because it was like you would wear Adidas, Nike, Under
Oh,
Armour. That
yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah.
the cool thing to wear.
See, you were the sport guy. That's why you're
Yeah.
using these sport brands that.
But now it's like and
I had a
Champion
Batman
was
shirt.
like-
I was really cool. Fun story. I wore a red Power Ranger outfit to kindergarten
that
class
is
pictures.
Awesome. That
like
is
with everything. Like so.
that's
I
cool.
have to see if I can find that picture.
That'd be great. That would be
Check out our
yes,
Instagram. Watch for it. It might be
Yes.
coming.
Might be coming.
If not, it's gonna be a really bad
Flashback.
Photoshop of me now. dressed
Yes. We should rock those one day. That'd be funny. Rock some PJs. I have my elf costume still.
Oh, Buddy the Elf.
That would be fun.
So yeah, the style in the
Anyways.
'90s I loved. You can see my shirt here. I wore this in occasion for the '90s. I loved comic books, and I felt like back then comic books were not just like the nerds. I was a nerd. I still am a nerd or a geek, whatever you want to call us. But like everyone knew about comics, and you'd pick them up. You'd buy one like every 1 month or so, and you'd read it. It'd be cool to have a comic book.
Yeah.
Like, where did comic books go to? We
it's
watched all the
crazy.
movies about the comic stars, but no one knows anything about the comics. They don't
Right.
read the books.
Right.
It's like, what?
Yeah. Well, that kind of
So-
leads into. I mean, I did a little bit of research,
Sure you
partially
did.
because I'm
Yeah, I just talked
interested.
about feelings. You did
I-
a real study.
I'm
This
interested
man
in.
is
I'm
scholarly.
obviously heavily invested into the next generation and what they mean not only for
Space.
the church and
The final
and faith.
frontier. These are the voyages of the Starship Enterprise and her crew. I am a nerd and a geek. Sorry, he said next generation. I
But
was
it's
thinking about
fun.
Captain Picard.
Yeah, good.
I
Old Star
totally
Trek.
walked right all over what you were saying.
I can't remember now.
Don't worry about it.
that I'm invested in the next gen, and so here's some crazy stats that I think are pretty crazy. So I just said crazy twice in the span of one.
That's okay.
sentence.
I've said a
Oh,
lot
well.
of things.
So 2.8 million Gen Alphas are born globally each week.
Babies.
Babies. So this current gen is growing by 2.8 million.
No,
a
you keep
week.
saying alpha, and the word that follows is male in my brain. So
Yeah.
I was like, what about all the girls? So that's a lot of kids.
Yeah, and then I'll just breeze through these other ones. 65% of Gen Alphas will work in jobs that don't exist today because of the progression of everything.
Mm-hmm.
And then half of Gen Alpha are expected to earn a university degree, which is insane.
That is a lot of people.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, if you go back to when I was in like high school, they were like, "Hey, 3 of your graduating class are gonna make it to college," and I'd be like, "Yay! Hopefully, it's me."
Yeah, but the biggest thing that I've found is that 66% of Gen Alphas prefer to buy from companies that make a positive difference in the world, which is kind of cool because they have like not only does this current generation have obviously more information at their fingertips than we can really fathom.
Oh,
like
that's
at
right.
the click of a button, you can know anything and everything that you want.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also become one of the most like illiterate. And I think part of that is because everybody thinks like there was another statistic that I read that there's the least amount of percentage. So it's the lowest percentage of fourth graders that can read, which is crazy. Like, I don't know if it's a post-COVID thing, like that
So
for
fourth graders
schooling,
can't read.
they can't read. That
Okay.
in fourth grade, the benchmark that they have for being able to read in fourth grade in this current generation, they're struggling to hit that benchmark,
Ooh.
which is so crazy. But I think
That
part of it
is.
is because all the information, like they can either ask Siri, or sorry,
Yeah.
anytime I want to use her and she doesn't.
My
work,
favorite
I
is
would-
the watch, and it's
Yeah.
like you talking in a random conversation. She's like,
Siri-
"Sorry, I can't help you with
Siri
that."
is useless.
Nope.
But no, it's crazy to think about, like the amount of information that are at these kids' fingertips. It's scary because obviously there's a lot of bad information out there that they can get, but it's also kind of weird. Like even though they have all this information,
Yeah.
studies and everything shows that they're becoming the most illiterate because I think part of it is because everything is here. Why do I need to retain this knowledge if I
Yeah.
can just Google it? Like we used to have to. I didn't do it as much, but we used to like, and I'm sure it was different for you, even with only our 6-year age gap.
Mhm.
Like I remember having to actually look things up in an encyclopedia
Yeah.
and find
We would have to go do our library, go to like the public library to do our school projects.
Yeah, like research wasn't.
I had to go to the library to play RuneScape. Sorry.
Good old RuneScape. But it's so crazy, like just how different it is. Like you take away the simple fact that this is like they will not understand a world without the internet.
Sure.
Like because we could, and I remember dial up. Like you couldn't
That
be
awesome
on the,
sound.
Yeah.
Or you try to pick up the phone and talk to someone, and you hear that, and you're like,
Yup.
"Nope, that's
Nope,
not it."
the internet's on. But because
Because you also right there, I just did something that I saw like a TikTok or a reel or something. Kids nowadays don't know what this means.
Yeah.
Because they don't pick up a phone
They
like
don't.
this.
yeah
This isn't a phone.
Yeah.
It's like you got that. Like this is a phone.
yeah
Like I'm holding the brick to my head.
yep.
It's so weird.
or the rotary.
The rotary
I
phones.
did.
We had a rotary phone in our summer house that we had. My grandmother owned, and there was also a party line. Do you know what party lines are?
I know what they are. We didn't have them.
Okay,
Because
it
we
was
had
the only.
the-
There's the only reason I knew about party
Yeah.
lines is because we had an older house. It wasn't like a fancy house, a summer house, by the way. When I say that, it's like, oh, they're from
Ooh.
the Hamptons. it was a nice, like it was a beat up house that we loved to be at.
Mhm.
We'd spend our summers there. Anyway, yeah. So we had a party line and a rotary phone, so I know how to use those. And it hurts your finger. My fingies.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy where we've come as people.
Yeah, I took more notes of things that I loved from the '90s on this list. So there was comic books I talked about. Pogs. Did you play Pogs?
Mm-mm.
Do you know what they are?
Mm-mm.
Pogs were little cardboard
Oh,
rings, and then
no.
there was something called a slammer. And so you would collect these Pogs. They would have cool designs on them, pictures, words, fun quotes. They were literally just round pieces of cardboard like that big, and that was not a great sign.
Pretty sure that means something.
Yeah, it's not. Anyway, the round, like it was smaller than that. I'm trying to make the not super racist white power sign. Anyway, if you're an audio listener, I didn't do anything. The Pogs are a circular cardboard piece, and you collect like hundreds of them because they're cheap little pieces of cardboard. I'm sure someone made a lot of money on this.
Yeah.
And then you would have a slammer, and you'd stack your Pogs up. And the goal was to throw the slammer down straight on the top of them and knock somebody else's Pogs over. And any of them that came out of the stack, you got to keep their Pogs.
Wow.
So it was like an intense game of keepsies or whatever. I don't even know.
Yeah.
And it was a lot of fun, and it was a craze and a half. I'm surprised you didn't hear about it or know about it. But
No. You remember Beyblades?
Beyblades, I was never into.
Those things were awesome, but so wicked dangerous.
Are they really dangerous?
Think about it. So these Beyblades, it's a plastic.
Yeah.
Most of it is plastic.
Yeah.
But then there's also metal blades that are on it, and
didn't
you're
know
ripping
that.
this thing, and you drop them into the. It's like a bowl,
Yeah.
but they would go flying, like they'd collide and hit each
So-
other, and they go flying out of this ring, and yeah,
It was a TV show first, and then it was a game that the kids would play.
yeah. So as soon as the TV show came out, they came out with the Beyblades, and
Okay.
they hurt.
Did you sharpen the blades at the end?
No,
'Cause
no.
That would be something I
'Cause
would have done.
It was basically like a mixture of BattleBots, and I'm trying to think of what else. Like your
BattleBots were
Beyblade-
amazing. I love
I
watching
miss that
BattleBots.
show. Like
I
they
think
still
it's still
have
on
it,
it. Yeah.
but it's different because now all the technology is crazy different. But
Yeah.
yeah, they would.
I used to
just
love just
destroy
like
each other.
it would be like a broom dustpan. Try to pick
Yep,
up and
and-
flip it over, and then like these super sharp things would like stick out the sides everywhere. Fire would shoot out. But then,
Oh, it's crazy.
lastly, it was our generation in the '90s. We popularized, we started and popularized Pokemon cards. So you're welcome for that, all you Gen Zers or whoever's doing that nowadays.
Yep.
Too. Don't look at my office.
Yeah.
I have tons of Pokemon cards still. So, yeah, we did the Pokemon thing before it was cool, and while it was cool, and they banned cards from our school because it was all we would do. Trade Pokemon cards, play them at lunch or whatever.
Yeah. I wasn't allowed to have Pokemon until I was in high school.
So your parents probably watched this podcast. Did they let you do Pokemon stuff, or and was it
Behind their back, yes.
they let you behind their back?
Not really. It was yeah. It was, they didn't really want us to, but then I think they gave up because we were like I had Pokemon cards, and they were
Okay.
like, okay,
Sure.
like whatever. I can't stop you now.
Well, and that might be part of the conversation we have about parenting.
Yeah.
What our parents did different, like, and I don't know your parents' situation, but the overall Christian view of Pokemon was bad.
Yeah.
I
like
remember
D&D.
seeing it was like D&D, this awful thing. It's funny. 'Cause I think I sent you some of that. I saw like an '80s propaganda of D&D, and it was
Yeah.
like a nice a man dressed up in a nice suit, and he's like slamming and slandering people who play D&D, talking about how they're worshiping Satan. And like I'm scared for my life, let alone these kids who are playing
Right.
D&D. And it's like, but it's fun. I don't want to get into a debate about the occult and if it was in D&D or if it's in Pokemon. I believe it's
I think there's a lot more scary things that kids could get into, but yeah.
I was gonna
Yeah.
make a joke. I stopped. Let's see. I don't have.
But no-
I have one last thing. Chuck E. Cheese and
Oh
Discovery
my
Zone.
goodness.
It was where a kid could be a kid.
I never got to go, but
What?
yeah, I never went to Chuck E. Cheese, but
Oh,
I always
man, you're not a
wanted
kid.
to. My
Chuck E.
dad
Cheese was the best.
my dad was Chucky. At like he
Like
had to
the
put the
mouse?
Chucky. Yeah, he had to put the Chucky
Oh,
suit
that's
on.
amazing.
and-
I've
yeah.
got a story to tell about wearing a mascot outfit. I don't know if now's the time or not, but I just said it, so.
I got pulled over wearing a costume one time. Well, that'll be another
Really?
story for another day. Yeah. Let's just say I don't think it's on my record
Anymore, right?
No, I don't even remember. But no, it definitely is interesting, how far we've come.
Yeah.
Just with, obviously the biggest thing is technology.
Mhm.
Like it's so big, but one of the really cool things about about Gen Alpha is that yes, technology is so huge, but what we're also seeing is this resurgence of community
And
that-
Pokemon cards, but
and Pokemon cards. Yeah, I mean it's true. Like it's funny. it's
community
true and
for
funny.
sure.
Yeah.
I'd make too many jokes. Keep going. You're talking seriously.
But it's so crazy, like how like I've thought about it, like man, like they don't care about people and stuff like that, and maybe there's that gap of the older Gen Alphas, and then I think it's Gen Zs or somewhere in there where they're just like they're unplugged from people but plugged into devices. But what they're seeing in the Gen Alpha is that yes, they're heavily plugged in, but the value of their friendships and their need for people is almost as high, if not higher, than any previous generation. Which is it's cool. I mean, statistics and everybody is saying that this generation can and will change the world just because of. I mean, 50%. They're projecting that 50% of these kids are going to be our kids are going to graduate with a degree and are going to value things that truly matter more than just.
we have 4 children together. Not me and you. Between me and you, there are 4 kids.
Yeah.
So 2 of my kids, or just two of them, are going to
2 of them.
graduate and do good things. Out of those 4, that's 50%.
Not graduate and do good things. They're just going to graduate
Oh, okay.
college.
I'm trying to pick which ones I want to go. So
No, but it's and I think part of that, yeah. I mean, we don't have to go too crazy down deep into that, but it's just interesting, like
it really is.
how even though this generation is faced with the technology that they have at their fingertips of anything in the world, really, which is scary, but also kind of cool, like the need for like even books and stuff like that. Like it's all there.
It's going to be a great day when a college student doesn't have to pay like 800 bucks.
Oh my
800
goodness.
bucks for a physics book.
That you'll never use again. That is
You
just,
barely use during the. My favorite is like I literally had a class where I bought the book and you get there and day 1 they're like, we're not going to use the book at all. By the way.
Yep. And
It's
it's
like
gee,
I literally
thanks.
just spent $250 on this
Thanks
book.
a lot.
I could have eaten lunch for at least a week.
No, it is. It's kind of cool. It's
Yeah.
it's cool to see what this generation can and will do, but it's also like a challenge to us. I was just reading another thing on some of the stuff that I noted that it's a big challenge for us then and how we raise our kids.
Yeah.
Because yes, they have all this information, any information they want at their
Sure.
fingertips. But how do we cultivate that? Not just like Lainey and I have really been cautious with how much screen time we give to Rylan right now.
Screen time's a
because
big thing.
It's crazy. Like
And once you start down that road, it's not like you can pull back real easy.
right, and he
So-
already knows how to. It's funny. He hangs up on anybody that we're like on the phone with or FaceTime with. He hangs up on him.
It's a big red button.
But that's why he sees that. But he knows how to swipe down on our phone.
Ooh.
He'll watch.
That's
and-
better than my mom.
Well, the biggest thing is he watches us do it. He watches us swipe. He watches me. He'll come up to my watch,
Slap your
and
watch.
smack my watch. Yeah, because it.
I
shuts it
didn't know
off.
that shut that off until you did it like 3 years ago. I saw you doing it. I was like, what's he doing? I had an Apple Watch. I never even knew what it did.
But it's so crazy, just and also challenging is like as
Mhm.
dads, like
Yeah.
helping coach that.
I find the hardest part for me is that I have a dependency on electronics. and I'm trying not to get my kids to get there.
Mhm.
But then they look at me and they see me like on my phone in the spare minutes that I have.
Yeah.
And it's like, Dad, you're on your phone. We're not allowed to play video games until the weekend. Why are you doing this stuff? It's like, oh, jeez.
Yeah.
You're right. Okay.
Yeah.
Uh,
Like I honestly wish I'm weird because I geek out about some of the new technology stuff
Sure.
and I love the stuff that's coming out, but I also wish I could just take it all away. Part of that's just because my relationship aspect, and I love being outside. I love
Yep.
doing stuff like that. And I think there's tremendous value to that, but I also know the value in like the technology side of things.
mhm.
So it's funny that
Yes.
my brain is like that, but thus is life and thus is me.
Well, yeah.
So yeah, that's all really that I had. I mean, we could spend a lot of time talking about
The good old days.
the good
See, I
old
like how
days.
you were talking about the future generation. I was talking about me living in the glory days of the
Mhm.
90s.
Part of it's because I don't remember much of my childhood.
Oh, well, it could
Not
be the diving
because
incident.
that sounds really
It
bad.
could be the diving incident.
Yeah, no, honestly, like it sadly is. Like I have some core memories that have stuck with me,
Mhm.
but I've noticed that because before I was just like, yeah, whatever, like I'll remember it, or I'm not blocking anything out. Like I truly and genuinely am super thankful for my parents, and there wasn't like beating or anything. And,
Sure.
but
That you remember? No,
but-
sorry. No.
But yeah, no, I mean the big things that I remember is some of the stuff that like the differences between our generations. And
Yeah.
it's yeah, but it is pretty insane, and to think that like it's not stopping.
No.
Like
Things are changing.
the whole AI and
AI is weird, man.
It's
We
weird.
could talk about that a whole different day.
It's so weird, and like I remember just one last little thing. I remember when like iRobot came out, and people are like, "Oh, by the time like 20, there was some movie, Back to the Future."
Yeah.
And we were supposed to have like everybody's like, "Oh, we're gonna have hoverboards, we're gonna have hover cars."
Have you
like
seen
the
the
Jetsons."
amazing amount of things they got correct in Back to the Future? Too?
It's yeah,
FaceTime videos.
yeah,
Like, who would have ever honestly thought that was a thing?
right, yeah.
There was a lot more to the list, by the way. That sounded
It's-
really pathetic. I was like, how many things they got right? There's one thing.
One. No, but it's crazy just to think of like not only where we've fallen short of the predictions, but
Yeah.
also how much further in some things we are. And I think that's just going to keep progressing and
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm looking forward to it. Technology is a really cool beast.
it is.
And it's a two-sided coin. One side's very good and it's beneficial for all of the world,
Yeah.
and the other side is very dangerous.
Well, like we were talking about, I mean, we keep saying we're going to end soon, but like we were talking about the other
I haven't
night.
said that at all. But
Like with there's some commercial. What commercial was that where they were talking about, like it's that where they've got the firefighter and they're like walking through the fire and they've got the AI that's telling them to do this, or they've got the doctor with the glasses on.
oh yeah,
And then they've got the kids that are putting on the
That's
the
right,
VR
the
headsets,
VR
to
headsets
see
in,
the
like, a
woolly
college
mammoths.
situation, and it's
It's
like a
like-
whole class of kids with VR.
Some of that's
headsets.
kind of cool,
It is really cool.
but
That's
some of it's also super scary.
very scary.
Like, yeah. Like, I wouldn't be able to. I mean, we were joking about this. Like, we would have both gotten sick if they
Yeah.
were like, "Hey, put
Yeah,
this
VR
VR headset on." I'd be
I
like,
tried VR like 3 or 4 times, and it does not agree with my body.
"Yeah." Neither does milk.
Neither does milk, which is sad.
Yeah, but it's crazy and exciting, but
Yes.
also scary.
Scary.
Yeah, but thus is life, and thus is progression.
My
and
coffee's almost done. You know what that means?
We're almost done. Sad.
No, I was gonna say get more coffee, but yeah.
Oh yeah,
almost
that
done.
too.
Yeah.
But
So,
yeah,
that was it. A topic about
that's our topic.
past, present, the future.
When I was a kid.
When I was a kid.
I mean, the big staples were the lights came on, you went home, had to knock on people's doors to talk to them.
We used to love playing kickball outside.
Yes.
We have a whole neighborhood kickball thing.
We used to play street hockey. And in the
Oh,
winter,
nice.
it was fun because you could actually drop the gloves.
Drop in the
wouldn't hurt.
gloves. It
As long
wouldn't
as you didn't
hurt.
hit the face. You'd punch in the stomach. You have a big coat on. Doesn't hurt.
Sure. Okay, that makes
There's
sense.
numerous times that I punched Josh Priest in
Now,
the
now I
stomach.
can, now I can kind of see why you don't remember much from your from your youth.
punching each other and no, yeah, it's Yeah. But the
Mhm.
big thing that's obviously coming back, relationships with people
I was gonna say Pokemon cards again.
and Pokemon
I made that joke already once. Guys, thanks so much for joining us
Yeah.
today. Hebrews episode 10 in the books. Let us know what you think down below in the comments. Yeah.
Like, comment, subscribe. And
Like, subscribe, comments.
like, subscribe, comments.
Yeah.
We'll see you on the next one.
Thanks, guys. I don't know what I'm doing with my hands.